So today we're going to be reviewing my Win 18-inch belt sander. Such an essential tool if you're into woodworking at all or craft work. We're going to go through it together. Okay, let's open it up and see what's inside. You got your owner's manual and 18-inch belts. And here's our sander itself. Take the plastic off. And there's a belt that comes on the sander. So you have one belt on the sander that comes with it, and you have two extra belts. So the first thing I noticed straight away is how lightweight this thing is. And it's only 17 inches from tip to tip. So from this tip right here all the way to this tip right here is 17 inches. From your thickest part is going to be right at about 3 inches. Something so lightweight such as this is something that I really desire to work with, because when I'm holding it a long period of time, it doesn't put so much strain on your wrist. And it only makes sense with detail work when you're sanding. You're going to be holding this tool, twisting it around, and you don't want something to be weighing heavy on your wrist the whole time. So I love it already. It's so lightweight. Okay, back to my table where we can get an even better look at it here. One thing you'll notice is it has a dust port right here on the sides. You can hook it up to a vacuum to collect all the sawdust that comes off if you have one available. The switch is on the back. Now this is one thing that I will tell you that some people do not like. It would be nice if there was a switch right here where you could turn it on and off, but just the mechanics of it, it would make this thing a lot thicker if the switch was right here. So it's kind of a give and take. Switch on the back, you just have to turn it on, turn it off, and then you're going to work with it from right here. Okay, this is where you adjust the incline or decline of the belt. You loosen that screw, and then you can adjust it. This has a tilt of 55 degrees total, so you have a lot of flexibility there. This is an 18-inch belt, meaning all the way around it measures 18 inches. It's ½ inch thick, so it's thin enough that you can really get in the crevices of your woodworking project. This also has a variable speed on it, meaning that when you turn it on, you can regulate how fast you want the belt to spin, depending upon what you're doing. If you're removing a lot of material at one time, you're going to want to speed it up. If you're doing some very fine detail work, you want to slow it down. So it is a crucial thing to be able to speed that belt up and slow it down at will. And you'll notice when you have this thing in full power that you have all the power that you need, because this is powered by a 2-amp motor, which is plenty of power to power this ½ inch belt. So you'll be able to remove all the material that you want to. The 3 belts that it come with is very important to talk about too. You have a 80 grit belt, you have a 120, and then you have a 320. The 80 grit is what's installed right now. This is what you want to use for removing a lot of material at one time. Let's take these other 2 out and I'll show you. This is the 120, this included with it. This is what you're going to do your most general sanding with. This is going to be, a 120 is going to be your go-to. Okay, it's one you're going to be using the most often. The 320, this is one where you're going to be doing fine detail sanding. So you're not going to be using it too much, and they'll last you a long time because you'll be using it at the end of your project where you're going to be doing little fine finishing sanding. Okay, and replacing the belt on this sander is super easy. There's no tools required. All you do is you just press this down, hear it click. You can take it off, just as simple as can be. And then once you get that belt back on there, there's one crucial thing that you need to know that took me a little while to figure out. The button to release the track after you slide the belt on is inside the dust port. So you got to reach in there and press that button, and it just snaps back. And you're in business. So there you have it. I hope you have enjoyed the review of this little belt sander. It's one of my favorite tools in my entire shop. You can't go wrong. And at the price point, it's kind of a no-brainer. So get you one, and it's going to last you years and years of enjoyment.